It's your girl, Soft Rain. Real talk, no filter, no disguise. Every headline, I'm breaking it live. From the streets to the pressure up top. We see it all, yeah, we connect the dots. Weekly rain, yeah, we run it down. Truth hit different when it wear a crown. No fluff, no cap, just facts in sight. Welcome to the weekly rain report. Let's get into it tonight.
Disclaimer: this broadcast is intended for commentary, discussion, and entertainment purposes only. All topics and statements are based on publicly available information, including news reports, social media content, and third-party sources, which may include allegations or unverified claims. The views expressed are opinions and should not be interpreted as confirmed facts. This content is not intended to harm, defame, misrepresent any individual, organization, or entity. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey, I'm just up here talking. Look, Penny came in here and Muriel was in here and didn't say nothing. Thank you, Classic. Thank you, Classic. Thank you. I appreciate y'all being here. Hey, so let's start this over again. This is my weekly rain report, and we are doing a special like back to school edition. School starts tomorrow for my little one. We're doing big things in the fifth grade. So, like many parents, tonight and over the weekend, I'm feeling all kind of emotions, excited, proud, a little anxious. So I spent the weekend, of course. I'm thankful though, y'all. School uniforms. I'm thankful that the school my child is attending this year has school uniforms. That was a big relief. Sort of easy. I have a son, so little graphic tee, some nice tennis shoes, and some jeans, really go well. You know what I'm saying? So it's not too hard for the boys versus the girls. But I will say it's been a big relief on my end financially and just planning all together as far as his uniforms and stuff goes. So, another year has passed. My baby is growing up, you know, but preparing for school is much more than buying like notebooks, school shoes, uniforms, supplies, and all that. Because while we're unpacking backpacks, something bigger is happening inside American's classroom. So tonight, we're going to be talking about teachers speaking out about disrespect, aggression, burnout, and lack of accountability. I do have some information on lawmakers placing new restrictions on student phones. And of course, artificial intelligence, is entering classrooms as tutors, assistants, and in some places, a major part of instruction. Some parents are being asked to trust an education system that is changing so fast that some of us can't even fully understand. So tonight we're talking about all the emotions surrounding a new school year. We're talking about what teachers say is happening behind classroom doors, and we're looking at a little bit at school policy. And we're also going to ask whether like artificial intelligence is supporting teachers or slowly replacing the human connection that our children still need. So let me get into some of these comments. Like Miss Maddie, she's in the building. She said, "Good evening, Rain." And Penny said, "Dang, Rain, I thought y'all forgot about us." No, I'm moving around. You know, these evenings are gonna start looking different now since um my baby is heading to school tomorrow. So dang, oh, Penny did say you. I'm sorry, Penny. I did get on to you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we can hear you now. I appreciate it. Souls, hey Souls, how you doing? Y'all had a great 1181 today too. I was listening while I was putting my show together. So yeah, so we're gonna get on into it. Um, unpack a few things that's going on this school year, especially in the state of Georgia and in other states as well. Classes said public school is daycare, so parents can go slave at corporations. It's not for learning; it's for indoctrination. Yeah. Um, I've seen schooling done on both ends, public school or several ends, public school, private school, and homeschooling from several people that are close to me on all. So I've seen all spectrums of schooling for our little ones. Um, I've seen different outcomes when it comes to homeschooling. Um, Public schooling and private schooling. I think the public school and private schooling depends on what institution you decide to send them to, as far as like what kind of instructions they get and whatnot. So first of all, we're gonna go into reality check. My first segment called reality check, and we're gonna talk about to what some of these are. We're gonna look at. I found a compilation of videos of what some of these teachers are experiencing in the schools with these kids these days. So something has changed in the schools, in Americans' classrooms at least, and teachers are finally saying it out loud across TikTok, YouTube, and other social media platforms. Educators from different states, grade levels, and school systems are sharing very similar experiences. They describe students refusing to follow basic instructions, teachers being cursed at, threatened, or openly disrespected. Um, Classroom where one student's repeated behavior interrupts learning for everyone else. Educators calling home and feeling as though they're immediately placed on trial. Staff members stretched so thin that one absence can disrupt an entire school day. And experienced teachers questioning whether they are willing to return for another school year. So, yeah, I'm gonna pull this up. I found this on YouTube actually when I was looking at different things. Let me. Oh, no, you're talking too much. Let's see. We're gonna listen in to some of these, and then we're gonna give our opinion because this is a whole compilation full of them. And then I'm gonna scoot over to like the most played um, version of this, and then we're gonna see what she has to say on the most played part. So let me put this up. I like it when it's like that. Yeah. Well, like that. So let's listen in.
Just dread coming to work because I'm about to be a babysitter for the day. Like at my last school, a student full blown hit me. And the very next day, I got an email from my principal talking about what I could have done better. And not only that, I was forced to call the parents and apologize for the child's behavior. And then I just altogether stopped calling parents because whenever I would call parents, they would say, oh, just move their seat. All of these good teachers are leaving the profession because they're tired of coming to work and being a child wrangler. They're tired of coming to work and they're tired of being a babysitter, a therapist, and no learning is being done. But then when it's time for these reports and time for these numbers to pop up, they're being looked at as fraudulent because there's no growth in the classroom. Literally, my mental health is so bad when I come to work. It's me up at 4 a.m. in the morning, tossing and turning, not able to detach from work because I'm so miserable going in because I have to deal with these issues that I'm getting no support on.
These kids are horrible. Horrible. They don't care about learning. The parents don't hold them accountable. They don't make their kids hold themselves accountable. The admin does not hold the parents of the children accountable. They say they hold the kids accountable, but they go to the office and they come back and they do the same thing. It's awful.
Teachers are tired of Gen Alpha and their millennial parents. Now, of course, it's not everybody, but as you'll see in today's video, there's a wide variety of teachers that are having the exact same problems, and it's worth talking about.
You're not going to believe what the student did to me today at school. This actually happened during passing period. I had just graded my students at the door, and I was speaking to another student of mine about some missing assignments that she had. She was standing right next to me. Again, we were standing still at the door. The student was in the hallway, and I was standing right by my door. When I see another student pass by me right in front of me, and he goes into my class, mind you, he is not a student of mine, so I immediately asked him to leave my class and to please go to his correct class. He knew exactly where he needed to be, and he made the choice to come into my classroom. As he is finally exiting, he decides to stop right in front of me where I'm standing at the door. And you guys already know I'm only 3 feet 3 inches tall. Now, these are students who are about to go into high school. This student is very, very tall, and he gave me no personal space. And what I mean by that was that he intentionally stood right in front of me, and we were probably about 2 inches away from him rubbing his private parts in my face. And he did this with a smirk on his face. So I know for a fact that he did it intentionally. This was no accident. He had plenty of space to walk on the side of the door. But instead, he chose to stand right in front of me, look down on me, and almost rubbed his parts on me. I did not even put my hand in front of him or anything. I instead went back like this because I didn't want to be accused of me touching his parts. So instead, I went like this. And the other student who was speaking to me actually told him, dude, that's gross, because she saw what happened. She was my witness. Anyways, I said a lot of things to him, and I asked him to please step away from me and to not ever come back into my classroom. He, of course, denied it and went finally into his classroom. I immediately called.
That was one. That was bad. That was awful. There was one at 5:23 that I wanted to. There she is.
The pattern I have noticed throughout my teaching career, it's not talked about enough. As a teacher, there is one thing that signals to me whether or not your child is going to be a behavior problem in my class for the entire year. It's not race, it's not gender, it's not religion, it's not their home life, whether or not they're in foster care, if they come from a split home, it's none of those things. All children at some point in time make dumb decisions. That's just part of life and part of growing up. But if every single time your child is getting in trouble, you are immediately jumping to their defense without question, verbally attacking the teacher, the principal, whoever, and refusing to hold them accountable for any reason whatsoever, you are setting your child up for a lifetime of disappointment, failure, and a whole lot of confusion. And of course, this type of behavior makes it really difficult on your child's teacher and everybody else in her classroom, but that's not even what I'm talking about. What I'm trying to tell you is that you are hurting your child by not making them take any responsibility, holding them accountable for nothing. If that goal of creating a good person is not mutual between the teacher and the parent of the child, there's only so much teachers can do. Learning how to be a good person, it has to happen at home.
Today I did something as a teacher that I told myself I was never going to do. And I really think that only teachers will understand, because this sounds so bad when I say it, but I don't know what else to do in these situations. And I hate to be that person, but when I was in high school, 2015, 2019, I do not remember a singular class I was ever in where kids did this to the teacher. And I'm not kidding. Today I'm just now realizing, this isn't.
Let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think that the kids these days, because she just said 2015 to 2019, she don't remember none of the kids acting like this. And I ain't gonna tell y'all what generation. Thank you, Lil Penny. I ain't gonna tell y'all what generation I was in. Well, y'all probably can find out, but from different conversations. But so she said 2015 what did she say? 2015, 2019. So did COVID do this to the kids? Did the CB-19 do this to the kids? Because honestly, I don't know if that's when the behavior started to change or whatnot, but these children they kind of out of hand these days, y'all. To me they are. Dom said the parents did that. Let me read some of these comments. Penny said AI is the great downfall because it's replacing fundamental learning and thinking processes. It is, unfortunately. Kids can't write cursive, but short can Google. I'm thankful mine has a beautiful cursive handwriting too, and almost cursive is better than his print. Dom said, "Hey, Dom." Thank you, Penny. Dom, do you have children? The parents did that. Yeah, of course. Penny said, no, it wasn't COVID. It was the death of the nuclear family and standardized testing. Well, we've had standardized testing since at least for the last 25 years, 26 years, Penny. Because I had to take a graduation exam to get out of high school. And actually, y'all, I didn't pass my science exam the first time. And that was shocking to me. But I failed it by 2 points. I think I had like a 498 and I needed like 500 points. But I was able to take it again before graduation. But, oh, you got 4. So I think special needs and autism became more prevalent, but we were not prepared for it. After CV-19, so is that what it is? Do you think that has something to do with it? I know we're talking more into that tomorrow night on No Middleman. And yeah, make sure y'all tap in on No Middleman tomorrow night too as well. Dom said 2 boys, 2 girls, and they are well behaved. My oldest is 20. Okay, I'm tracking. Soul said Big Pharma came on scene in 2010. Let me ask you this, Souls. Do you think, and we've had this conversation before, off and on, do you think that, and this is turning into something else, and that's fine though, we can keep it rolling. And welcome, I see the numbers are jumping, y'all, so welcome everybody in to my weekly rain report. If y'all are here for the first time, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe as well, make sure you turn on your notifications so you can catch me anytime I go live. This is something I do usually on Sunday. Sometimes I get a little fancy and do it during the week if I'm up to it. But so let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. Do you think I was a late diagnosis? I have ADHD, the inattentive type. There's different types out there, and I was diagnosed in my very late 30s. Okay, y'all. So, but if I recall correctly, during my elementary years and during my school age years, I managed it, I think, myself, because I was one of those kids who wanted to go ahead and get done with my work. I was one of those kids who wanted great grades. I was one of those kids who enjoyed learning. So I think I self-managed okay without being like formally diagnosed. So I kind of flew up under the radar. And then over the years, once life tasks, especially after becoming a mother, trying to work 40 hours a week, trying to finish up my degree, as a single parent too, running a household, those tasks became a little bit unmanageable at times. I guess because, you know what, I will say that the reward, I'm not going to say the reward wasn't there, because the reward is there in doing day-to-day things, but it's not, and it still can be accomplished, but it's not. The reward is different. Is it gratification? Is different with completing tasks as you get older, I would say. Do you think that the reason why we need to have this conversation. We need to keep this. She said 2015 to 2019. She said she didn't see it. So she said she didn't see it from 2015 to 2019 that's what she said. It was 2015 to 2019. So that's why, and 2020 is when it came in. So that's what I'm asking. Do you think that a lot of the behavior issues came after the fact, or do you think these behavior issues, especially with autism and ADHD and all that, came about more prevalent after the fact? But you said big pharma. So we'll talk about it because I can keep going on. We'll talk about it offline, souls, and then they might be able to do a show on it or something. Dom says, so what excuse are these people talking about? Penny said, now they only teach the test because that's what teachers get paid off of, because that's what the schools get money from. They don't teach how to think anymore. They only teach the test because that's what teachers get paid off of. They don't teach how to think anymore. You think the critical thinking aspect is gone, Penny? Penny said a lot of ADHD is misdiagnosed, and now it's more of a crutch for kids, and they are fed pills instead of learning techniques and self-discipline. Penny, let me ask you this: do you think even with self-discipline, and do you think learning techniques and self-discipline, do you think they've dang, I lost thought now. They are fed pills instead of learning techniques and self-discipline. Dang, so we talked about this on No Middleman. We talked about this on No Middleman. I think that some ADHD issues that are diagnosed could be because of parents not disciplining correctly. But I do believe that there's some kids who genuinely have ADHD, and it's not more of a behavior discipline type problem. If that's what you trying to say. Penny said just like behavior disorder students for Black and brown kids. So said the standard for teachers have lowered to more certificate teachers than degrees. I agree with that. So said, okay, stay on top of my no. So no, it's not that. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to lean into it too hard because that can be a full conversation. Specifically for that, we need to talk about that. So Mira said, I do herbal medicine for my son's ADHD and explosive bipolar disorder. Muriel, get with me on the inbox. Let me know what you do. Penny said it was gone when I taught high school. Oh, Penny, you taught high school? What years did you teach high school? Did you experience the kids that we have today? The young? She said, especially in Texas, they teach for the students to pass the STAR test only. I know they focus on what's on the STAR test to get them passed, but shouldn't that be what's on level for each student? Shouldn't they be learning that anyways? Is what I'm asking. Lawrence, me too. B5, all I do, little Lawrence, me too. Still think about you. Stay. Thank you for being here. I'm not for certain if I understand your comment. Hit that like button though, please, while you're here. I appreciate you coming in. Penny said correct, but you can use learning techniques and time over pills to solve the problem. Even with a chemical imbalance, Penny? I wonder if the chemical imbalance... We'll talk about it. Classes said OTS daycare and the teachers are babysitting. It's daycare and the teachers are babysitting. Lawrence. Hey, Lawrence, don't be coming in here spamming my chat, okay? I'm going to be nice right now. Muriel said that's why it's important for parents to teach their children their history and culture. How to sign their sentences. Penny said no, they teach the direct test. I know. So 3rd grade, my child experienced a standardized or a state test where if he didn't pass the reading portion of the test, they would not promote to 4th grade. So I'm thankful that he did pass. And it honestly, in his classroom, there was 100% pass rate for that. There were several students though that did not pass to be promoted to the 4th grade. they did do a summer school, and I'm not for certain how that went as far as that goes. But I have been hearing that a lot of these a lot of children, they can't, and we've seen it on these social media pages where, you know, this guy walks up to this person and tells them to read this card, and they can't even. Now, I can't pronounce a lot of words. Okay, but the words on these cards I can pronounce, and some of them aren't even trying to pronounce them, nor do they know what they mean. I would know what they mean. I do know. Well, the ones that I've run across, I do know what they mean. But our children not being able to read and write by the 7th grade, they should be doing this in 2nd and 3rd grade. Fortunately, my child, I was able to. I didn't even teach him how to read. He taught himself, and he was reading full books by kindergarten. So that my situation is a different situation, but these parents, they should, and I know some of these parents probably don't have the education that's needed to help teach their child either. You know, so hopefully wherever they are, they will have resources where they can send their child for extra help, and tutors to get extra help, especially with these city schools and whatnot. As I said, they teach majority false history or completely omit history. They story teach in real handwriting. They teach lackluster math techniques, and they have tell physical education. I will say, this new math that they're teaching, I showed my baby at home how to do it my way, how to do it the way to borrow. I'm gonna go over here and borrow from this number. I had to show him that because the way they were doing this math, I didn't understand it. My thing is, it's worked for all these years. Why are y'all doing it differently? It worked for 20, 30, 100 years, however long they've been teaching math. Why have y'all changed it to confuse these children? I got to go borrow from this number over here so I can subtract from this number over here. He said, Mommy, you do it so easy. I said, I know, you know. So not saying that their way is wrong. Yeah, you getting the same answer, but yet and still. Class said the lunchroom is full of processed food. I agree. Class said they playing in everybody's face and we buy the BS daily. Miles said, weird how kids can focus on these phones but need drugs to pay attention. Tell me about it. Dom said, I was born here, raised in the islands. Kids get out of line. The principal will straighten you up. Kids out here sport. I remember being in civics class my freshman year. I had a coach for my civics teacher. He was taking them boys outside the door. Now, they say that he was taking that meter stick and hitting the wall with it. But he would get them outside the door, and this was 90s. So, and I remember them kids going to the principal office and getting their tail tore up too. Penny said, no, with the chemical imbalance, you use pills, but that's the 5%, not the 95%. Oh, okay, Penny. He said he taught 2010. What did you teach? What did you teach high school? Did you say what you taught? Did you teach high school? What subjects did you teach if you taught high school? Penny said teacher bonus structures were based on kids passing. Lawrence, if you come in here and spam my chat, you're going to get banned, baby. Mrs. V is in the chat. She said, good evening, Rain and chat. Don said, before my dad dropped me off at school, his last words were listen to your teacher. Somebody, can y'all one of my moderators, tell Lawrence bye-bye. I mean, I appreciate the comments and the view, but Dom said parents these days rather be a friend than a parent. Social media is raising these while parents live in life. Penny said kids in a lot of schools can't read word problems in ninth grade, especially with What is ESL, Penny? English Standard Language? Is that what that is? Classic said real schooling has always been having a vested interest in knowledge and a library card. Stop teaching real handwriting. Yeah. I'm glad my child can read. He's going to the 5th grade. He learned cursive in 3rd grade. His cursive penmanship is better than his printed. I love his cursive is beautiful. Penny said PE standards are non-existent these days. They're not. I'm gonna say this as the big girl in high school. Well, actually, all my life as the big girl. It was tough. It was tough, but I made it happen. Dom said the fatigue is messing up the rest of the country. Penny said they do it different to satisfy the requirement of being accessible for all learning types, but I agree old school is best. So is that in reference to the math? You teaching math, Penny? Is all that new stuff that they were teaching, all these groups and drawing this big old thing to do this simple problem? Is that what it is? Mrs. B said, hey, the classic codes. Penny said algebra and English in high school. Okay, then. So it's already did. We already talked about it, so is that what you're talking about? Maddie said they need to teach these children how to sign signatures. Oh, yeah, definitely. Dom said, I remember when we used to stand up to flag. English as a... Oh, okay, Penny. English as a second language. Mira said, my kids are in sports. And the classical said, hey, to Mrs. V. So, yeah, y'all. So, this is a reality check. I thought it was interesting to talk about what some of these teachers are experiencing in these classrooms. I heard it last year. I will say, as a parent of a child who is well behaved in these situations, the other kids in the classroom disrupted my child's learning. They were, I will say, most days he came home from school, he was exhausted because the kids were, other kids, and this is my interpretation of what he talked to me about. The other kids were so disruptive, he couldn't pay attention in class. Or he couldn't figure out something, because the other kids were bopping all around and, doing this and doing that. Also on school buses, school safety. It's like, they would just be quiet. We can accomplish so much. Basically, is what this was a 4th-year-old, a 4th grader was saying this. But we can't because everybody's so disruptive. He said, I be telling them to, hey, look, just cool out and sit down, but they don't want to do that. So I'm thankful as a parent of a child who is mild-tempered, well-behaved. Hopefully, and actually we are going into a new school system this year, a whole new school. So I'm hoping that he has a better school year and is not as exhausted and, overwhelmed with the classroom being so disruptive. We had a terrible 4th grade. Well, now I'm not gonna say terrible, but 4th grade could have been better than what it was. Penny said, yeah, the new strategy to appease the masses that are so liberal that they will sue or complain about anything. Little Penny says, saying the kid was discriminated because they don't learn the same. True. Yeah. Or the work was too hard. That's why we have these 504 plans and IEPs and whatnot. And if the work is too hard, then what other options are there available for the kids? So no, Bridget, thank you for coming in though. These were some teachers. They were saying they were talking about their experiences in a classroom and these bad kids and disruptive behaviors and whatnot. They were talking about those experiences in the classroom. So yeah. So I'm gonna move on to my next segment. Y'all have made this a great segment. I'm thankful for everybody in the chat for talking to me. We talked all that out. I love it. I love it when y'all talk to me. So yeah, let me pull up my next segment, and it's gonna be, let's see. Oh, okay. Georgia has a phone free school policy, and I want to get y'all inputs on that too. One of the biggest changes affecting Georgia families is the restriction on students' cell phones and personal electronic devices during the school day. And I understand the reasoning behind it. Yeah, teachers should not have to compete with TikTok group chats, games, text messages, social media, all while trying to teach a lesson. So I'm all for cell phones being put away during instruction time. We know that phones, they can be tools for bullying. They can be used to record fights. They can spread rumors before an adult can even know that something happened. And they can turn a small classroom into a disagreement. And, you know, it could cause a lot of humiliation for the teachers and the students as well. Removing phones could possibly help students focus. It could encourage face to face interaction, and it may reduce one of the biggest distractions teachers have been describing. But parents, like myself, we have legitimate concerns, right? Parents want to know how they'll reach their children during an emergency. I think that, um, I think that, mm, with that being said, if there's an emergency going on, that parent can call the office or come up to the school if it's an emergency. Now, in my opinion, and last year was the first year that I let my son carry his phone to and from school. Now, he knew that when the bus pulled, because he rode the bus every day, and there was some challenging behaviors going on the bus, some crazy stuff going on his bus to and from school the last 2 school years. And also he stayed, he did a lot of after school programs too as well. So, and then when he went on a field trip, I needed to know where that bus was, what it was doing. These times have changed. So I'm all for like the student taking the phone to the school, turning the phone off as soon as they enter the school, putting it away. And then whenever you get ready to get on the bus or you get ready to leave the school, when class has been dismissed, you can power that phone back up. Um, I think that now I don't think these high schoolers, these middle schoolers, or elementary school students should be toting around a phone all day long. We didn't have that when we were coming up, and we managed just fine. So let me see, y'all are in the comments already. Penny said that's why they dumb it down to pictures and overly complex explanation to express things we got faster. Oh, okay, Penny. Richard said when ego to better schools, every teacher got degrees in child psychology. They know how to motivate you. So say y'all behind in Georgia, Texas been on this, and Louisiana. Mrs. V said, hey to Bridget. He said when you go to better schools, every teacher got degrees in child psychology. They know how to okay. I'm tracking, Bridget. I'm tracking. So let me pull up this this video that I had for the Georgia phone ban for the state of Georgia.
And for Georgia high school students, the days of checking a text.
Yeah, we're going to add this to the. There we go. Let's listen in, y'all.
Between classes or scrolling social media at lunch could soon be over.
Yeah, new state law requires schools to keep phones out of students' hands, but some teens say the change is just going too far. Our education reporter, Naomi Washington, is here with us in studio. Naomi, a lot of people have been responding to your past coverage of the bill.
Good morning. That's right. There's been an overwhelming response to my videos on social media and to my previous stories about this state law that's going into effect for the 2027-2028 school year. This phone ban is extending from just K through 8 Georgia students to high schoolers as well. Districts can decide how they want to keep phones out of students' hands for the whole day, and I explored one way that's gaining some traction. Some schools could decide to use cell phone pouches. They're designed to keep phones out of students' hands during the school day. Taki Skouras is the CEO of Solaris, an Atlanta-based company that makes the cyber pouch. He says the goal is to reduce distractions without taking away phones entirely.
When we created this, we said, okay, how do we help with the distracted learning, but still allow them to get to their device in case of emergency or after school in case they need to contact their parents? And so when they put their device in the pouch, it blocks the signal.
The new state law doesn't require schools to use pouches. Districts can create their own policies, whether that's using lockers or a designated spot in the classroom. Many students tell me they don't want to give up access to their phone during the entire school day. Eli Duckworth of Centerville says he recently needed his phone after leaving his Chromebook on the bus.
And so I use my phone to do the work instead of my Chromebook because you're able to get to all of the websites you need to on your phone.
At his school in Houston County, phones are put away during class, but sometimes they can use them between periods.
I just mainly think that phones should be fine to use at lunch is the main part.
Duckworth says he doesn't see phones as a major distraction. Supporters of the law see it differently.
Education first, right? We want to make sure they're not being distracted.
Schools have until the 2027-2028 school year to decide how they'll enforce the new law. The law says bell to bell, students must have their phones away, so that means they can't have them out during free periods or lunch, technically. It'll be up to schools individually to figure out how to make their policies align with this law.
Alrighty, thanks so much, Naomi. Under the law, parents have to contact the main office to get in touch with their student. In the event of a school emergency, the law says communication should happen through the school's emergency communication system.
The law does have some exceptions for students with accommodations or an IEP. Schools will also need to make a procedure for students who need to arrange their daily rides, maybe have dual enrollment or events off of the main campus.
There is something going on with these children of today that their behavior is so bad. We are in this classroom fighting behavior.
There it was. We already saying that, y'all. So yeah, and this is supposed to be. Look, I got my souls always get on me about my segment and my about my production for my shows and stuff. I usually am a little bit better, but but yeah, this is supposed to be on the policy and pressure, y'all. Do y'all think phones should be restricted during the entire school day or only during instructional time? Should older students have different rules for younger students? Do phone restrictions improve learning, or do they simply remove the most visual distraction? I personally think that as long as they're not using it during instruction time, especially with these middle schoolers and high schoolers, we only have 5 minutes to change between our classes, though. So what can you really do? It takes 5 minutes to boot your phone back up, and then look, all your notifications will start coming in. So I think as long as the phone is on silent and it's not being used during instruction time, then at least for the high schoolers, like the middle schoolers, put it in your book bag, turn it completely off. I will, as coming from a parent standpoint. And we know today's time is totally different than yesteryear, and there are more and more school shootings and school things going on during the school day. If something like that was to go down while my child was at school, and knowing that my child, if possible, if his book bag was next to him, in order to grab his phone and be able to call me, or be that one child in the classroom that can make a phone call and say, hey, we're in classroom such and such, and we're barricaded in, so they can give authorities you know, a look at where they are. And if they're going on these field trips and whatnot, I feel like they should be able to have their phone. So let me look at some of these comments, y'all. Mary said, I don't agree with the phone policy as it stands in Texas. What's the Texas Souls and Miriam? What's the Texas policy? Can they not have it at all, or are they allowed to bring them to school but put them up? Mrs. B said 100. Penny said, we survived without phones. Yes, we did. I don't think they should be removed completely because of emergencies, but shouldn't be so accessible. But we have set these active shooter situations. But we have these active shooter situations that give validity. Yes, to them carrying phones. Absolutely. So said they can have their phones, just not in class. Okay. Welcome in, Big Skull. I appreciate you being here. Muriel said yes, but when we were in school, they were not having shooters and bombs, or explosions, and people were sitting in schools on fire. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's totally different. Totally, times have changed. Penny said, Richard, better schools have less black and brown and more white. So we should send them to whiter institutions. He's asking you a question, Richard, and you probably already answered. Soul said phones ain't stopping active shooters or bomb threats. Funny how we push back on structure regardless of the pros. Insatiable. So Maddie said only during class time should phones be restricted. Penny says Soul's not saying it will stop it, but can get a call out during an emergency if the teacher can't get to theirs. Yeah. Classy said, I think the curriculum needs to be so hard they will fail if they don't pay attention. Make them take tests in cardboard blockade pods so that cheating is impossible and go back to failing students. No child left behind. So said, y'all sound crazy. Classy said, if you make school difficult, it will be sink or swim like the real world. Maddie said, my children last year had to call me twice. Once when someone set the school on fire, the next time they had an active shooter on campus, and without phones, I would have not known what was happening. Okay, Maddie. Penny said, and get out relevant information to police in active shooter situations. It already was a determining factor in some active shooter situations because the popo could get the line of sight. So down here is no phones at school at all. Oh, so they can't even bring them at all. They can't put them in a book bag. No, nothing. They have to leave them at home, Maddie. Oh, you can have phones in your backpack, but that's it. So said Penny, there is protocol for all of this. We speaking as parents, not people who understand the procedure. Penny said, no child left behind was the worst. I agree. So said, you are all looking only from emotions. What if your child shot because their phone goes off? Whew. That's another perspective. That's another angle. I would hope that my child would have his phone on silent, if anything. Yeah, so thank y'all for y'all perspective on that. Georgia, they're gonna have to, these Georgia schools are gonna have to get it in line. Miles said it should be checked at the door. They will adapt quickly. As I said, we need to get back to kids being grown at 16. The pros and cons were better for society as a whole. "16 was that age." You know what? There was a situation that I know of that happened in the state of Florida. And I don't know if it was county at the time, but they were like, no, they can't be by themselves because they're only 16. And that wasn't the legal age. They had to be 18 to be by themselves. I just recently ran across that. Penny said, I feel your souls. Soul said, should be married, but are we all? Should is another excuse. So, Classic got one more comment. Classic said, at 16, I had a job working 30 hours a week and a car and a girlfriend. I was more grown than the average 26-year-old today. You was managing that, Classic. Miria says, souls, it's not about emotions for me, it's facts. Okay. Gotta give me another mouse, y'all. So while teachers are telling us they need more support, stronger boundaries, and manageable classrooms, education leaders are also investing in artificial intelligence. AI may help explain a math problem, but can it restore respect? Can it manage an aggressive student? Can it recognize when a child is unusually quiet because something happened at home? Or are we introducing futuristic solutions while avoiding the human problems already pushing teachers out of the profession? This is why artificial intelligence in education is on the radar. Investigate. So let's pull that segment up, y'all. Well, I have to question myself sometimes. Ryan, why did you choose that? But I did. So, artificial intelligence is no longer something that may eventually enter classrooms. It is already here. Schools are using AI for tutoring, personalized learning, lesson planning, practice assignments, and student support. And on the surface, some of that sounds promising, right? A child who is embarrassed to raise their hand may feel more comfortable asking an AI tutor for another explanation. A student who learns at a different pace may receive additional practice. Teachers may be able to use AI to create worksheets, adjust lessons, or identify learning gaps. Students with disabilities may benefit from more customized materials, and teachers may be able to reduce some of the administrative work that follows them home every night. But of course, we got to be clear about some things. There's a major difference between AI supporting the teacher and AI becoming the teacher. So a machine can explain a math formula. It can generate a reading passage. It can also practice questions, but can it recognize sadness behind a child's smile? Can it tell the difference between a child who is refusing to work and a child who is overwhelmed? Can it understand culture, family circumstances, trauma, or the emotional meaning behind a question? Can it protect a student from another child? Can it establish trust? And what happens when the AI is wrong? Because artificial intelligence can produce incorrect, as we all have seen, biased, as I've seen too as well, and misleading information. So when an AI tool gives a child the wrong answer, who is responsible? The teacher, the school district, the technology company, or will the parent simply be told that the system made a mistake? So let's check on this. I have a few videos for this one. So that's Boston, that's Oklahoma. There's a lot of cities too. Boston, the state of Oklahoma, Chicago. Some of them have implemented this as of last year as well. So let's see. We'll start with this one. This one's a short.
Okay, get ready for this. 3 AI schools are coming to Massachusetts this fall, and they will not have any teachers in the classroom. According to Boston Business Journal, the Alpha School is opening 3 locations in Boston, Lexington, and Jamaica Plain. AI will replace teachers, but
wait, they said no teachers in the classroom at all. Hold on, let's try
get ready
that
for
again.
this. 3 AI schools are coming to Massachusetts this fall, and they will not have any teachers in the classroom. According to Boston Business Journal, the Alpha School is opening 3 locations in Boston, Lexington, and Jamaica Plain. AI will replace teachers, but there still will be an adult that watches the children. Tuition at these new private schools are around, $60,000, and about 90 kids from grade K through 8 are set to start this September.
Wait, wait a minute, y'all. Because I didn't listen to this one. I just threw this in my playlist. I said, oh, they go. I said, that's Boston, AI in Boston. Let me throw this in my playlist. And this is just a few seconds long. So I'm gonna put it on regular speed so I can hear this right. Hold on. And we're gonna play it back one more time because that did I hear $60,000? Hold on. Let's run it back.
Okay, get ready for this. 3 AI schools are coming to Massachusetts this fall, and they will not have any teachers in the classroom. According to Boston Business Journal, the Alpha School is opening 3 locations in Boston, Lexington, and Jamaica Plain. AI will replace teachers, but there still will be an adult that watches the children. Tuition at these new private schools are around, $60,000, and about 90 kids from grade K through 8
is
are
that
set
for
to start
1 year or is that for all?
Solve this not by just being smart, but by being L2 United.
Okay, so this is okay. Y'all been in the chat. Let's talk about it. 16 is only a sophomore year in high school. 16 is only sophomore. You got some kids who now my mama didn't want me to work. I was her GM at the house, so I didn't work. I didn't have a regular paying job until after I graduated high school. So she told me, April, focus on school. I got this. The house, we gonna be all right type deal. So she didn't want me to work. I was her GM, okay? I was raised in a single parent home, okay? But some of my friends that I knew, they held down a job. They played sports. They did several things. They helped maintain the household as well. They were in single parent home as well. So I understood the need for bringing more money into the household and whatnot. But yeah, I don't, I think I tried. Did I try to get a job in high school? I'm not for certain if I did or not. I can't remember that part. But yeah, I was too involved with FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America. I was the president for 2 years, secretary treasurer for a year. I ran that club, Future Business Leaders of America. That was my baby. So I did a lot behind the scenes at school too as well. I made programs for all the award ceremonies. I helped one teacher with her master's degree while I was in school. So it was while I was in high school. So I was doing a lot behind the scenes. But yeah, it was 16 is tough to have a job and be doing school too. So said isolated incidents are not facts, but hey, whatever makes you feel good. Maddie said they are for me because it's actually happened in my area. 30 students last year were expelled for bringing weapons to school. I know in most areas that is not a problem, but it is for me and mine. Penny said we could have did the same thing as AI in most cases with less kids in a single class. I think that's an issue too, especially in elementary schools. 10 to 15 kids, when you're pushing over 15 to 20, sometimes even 30 kids in an elementary classroom setting, it's tough for the children and the adults as well. Especially some classrooms don't even have, like when I was in elementary school, I remember like kindergarten, first grade, even second grade having a parapro, and some Aiden's A-boogies, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, no parapro. And you got 20, 22, 25 kids in a classroom. It's tough. You got these young kids, figuring out their emotions outside of the home, figuring out how to self-regulate outside of their home, so it's hard on the kids. And it's hard on the teachers too as well, because some parents don't know how to parent and show their children or teach their children how to regulate their emotions outside of the house as well. Penny said we could have did the same thing as AI in most cases with less kids in a single class. Bridget said AI is perfect only for people that can live on their own. Maddie said, and let's not even talk about the overdoses. Ooh, Maddie. Penny said, Maddie, way more weapons in school. Penny said, yeah, they're tripping with no teachers. Yeah, when I heard no teachers, I was like, wait a minute, no people at all. Bridget said, hey, oh, no, excuse me. All that is how they program people. Sco said they definitely said 60K. I know that's more than my car. Is it for 1 year? I want to know if is it for 1 year or is it for kindergarten through the 8th grade? Because that's a lot. Most private schools, you go to are around 65, 7,000 a year, and that's with a teacher in the classroom. I looked into some here in my area, and the ones that I looked into, they were between 65, 75 a year, 7,500 a year, 7,500, 6,500, not 6,500, not $60,000. Maddie said, Penny, I am in a border town with a lot of drugs and want to be gangsters trying to prove themselves. Penny said, I don't care what you call it. Replacing human instruction is letting the world burn, all based on greed to repackage mediocre standards. So said, we are not having full conversation, so I will digress, praying for you all. Penny said, Maddie, same in H-Town. Miles said, these kids will be functional zombies in adulthood. Maddie said, we need more qualified teachers and to take out these standard tests and actually teach for knowledge. I was in the generation of sink or swim schools. I think that as Classic was saying earlier, Penny said, there are adults now coming into the workforce crippled by their use of AI. Miles said, when I was in high school, the average class had 30 kids, graduating class of 400. What was the total population in the school, Miles? I'm assuming if you had 400 in the senior class, I'm assuming around 2,000, because usually like your freshman class is the largest. I think we had about 12 in my school, and my graduating class was like 235, 240. Penny said, I'm sure it's 60K a year. Bridget said, when I lived in Ohio, they only had 7 teachers. We all seen every teacher, but remember, these all people with degrees in child psychology. 1 year, one you or 1 year went from D's to getting A's on accident. What were you trying to say, Bridget? Muriel said, at my kids' school, they have over 4,000. That is a lot. That is a lot. That's a lot of kids. I bet that campus is huge. It's got to be huge. That's a lot. I couldn't imagine. Miles said it was a 7 to 12, a private public school. Okay. You was right. Year. Okay. 1 year went from D's to getting A's on accident. Okay. What? That's normal in Texas. So, with the 4,000 students in one school? Or what's normal in Texas? Is that? Penny said brainwashing the masses. Okay, y'all, thank y'all for all y'all comments and being active. I love it. I love it when y'all talking to me. We're gonna watch some more. I think I have like 2 more videos that talk about the AI real quick before we move forward. I ain't gonna be here too much longer. I gotta make sure I'm not losing.
At Alpha Miami, the day kicks off with a 15-minute launch activity. Today, it's a scavenger hunt. But when it's time for academics, students power up their laptops and start their personalized learning plan for core subjects like math and reading, 25 minutes per session for a total of 2 hours each day. Unless students want to do more, their progress charted on leaderboards. The lessons are taught not by teachers, but by AI-powered learning apps. A camera tracks the students' eye movements to ensure they're on task, and they're pacing, prompting them to slow down if it appears they're skimming and guessing. The AI tutor also sets the level of difficulty. Fifth grader Elle Zach says it allows her to get ahead.
If you're more advanced, let's say in reading, but the rest of the class is like at a third grade level, then like it's kind of hard because you have to just sit there and go along with the actual curriculum instead of doing what your actual level is.
Guides who go by their first names like Caitlin supervise the students.
Nice, Daniel. You know what to do.
The catch? They're here to coach and motivate, not to teach. Only about a third have educational backgrounds.
You can think back to all.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there, right quick. So these Chromebooks, basically, they're Chromebooks with these programs. The kids are doing this now. The teachers are doing this now in regular public school. Yes, you do have some, I would say, classroom as a whole instruction, teaching them how to do things, but I think I would hazard to guess, Tez. I would hazard to guess that I'm going to say about 75% of their instruction comes from these computers. They're doing that with these Chromebooks. They've been doing it since kindergarten. That's what they're doing on these computers. So I got to pay $60,000 a year for it to be 100%. Okay, let's finish this. Hold on.
Lessons.
Sonny is a former high school band director, and Chris is a performance coach who told us he was most recently working in hospitality.
Team Hammerhead and Team Tiger Shark.
If students struggle with the AI learning apps and their guide isn't able to help, they have a video chat with an advanced degree educator.
Kids do not need to spend 6 hours a day in a classroom doing academics.
Co-founder Mackenzie Price says the traditional education.
Now, I agree with that. That's too much. Like 6 hours a day, like focused on academics, to me, is too much. I do have a coworker friend. Her daughter is going into 6th grade this year, and she chose, because of the bullying that's going on in the school system, because of the not getting support from the administrative staff, like she would like, she's gonna try homeschool this year. And she was telling me, she's like, hey, Rain, I'm gonna say Tanya is gonna be, homeschooling this year, and she's only gonna be doing schoolwork for about 2 hours a day. Last year, my child got on the bus at 7 o'clock, didn't get home till after 4. And they were in school from 8:30 until 3:30. So I understand the structure of going to school. I understand the structure it gives each student, the little ones, and it prepares them for, the outside world of having to report to a job, having to be there at a certain time, be on time, so on and so forth. I understand that, but as far as like curriculum, academic for 6 to 8 hours a day, I think that if you didn't have so many classroom disruptions, then you wouldn't have to teach that much during the day.
Model of teachers at the front of a classroom was built to train factory workers, and it's outdated. Here, guides make 6 figures a year, and she argues they get to focus on the best parts of education.
Teachers are leaving the field in droves because they're underappreciated, they're overworked, and they're underpaid. And we have the opportunity to finally provide personalized learning to so many students.
Some people, when they hear artificial intelligence, AI tutor, they picture ChatGPT. They think my kid is just clicking, not really learning. What do you say to that?
That is a very true and scary reality. Chatbots in education are cheat bots.
Another major concern, screen time. Early studies show that time spent on devices can negatively impact a child's emotional and behavioral development. What about parents who are really concerned about the amount of time their children are spending in front of a screen already? And now you're talking about sending them to a school that is based on screen time for at least 2 to 3 hours a day.
I would argue there is a huge difference in doom scrolling TikTok or playing video games and getting a one-to-one personalized mastery-based experience.
Once students hit their progress goals for the day, it's lunch and then an afternoon free to work on what Alpha School calls life skills. For kindergartners, it could be planning a play date. For older kids, it ranges from creating a business to prepping a TED Talk.
I really love public speaking. It's something I aspire to be when I grow up.
3, 2, 1, go. Now I like that part where they have the rest of the school day to focus on something else like they enjoy doing. Like when we chose to do electives, you know. So especially I think that financial literacy should be taught in schools. Even though some parents do teach their children that, I think that should be taught in schools, like credit and or the purpose of credit and what you have when you hit the real world and paying bills and the stock market and interest rates and things like that would benefit young adults going into the adult world.
On the afternoon we visited, it was completing a Ninja Warrior course. Right now, tuition runs from $5,000 to $75,000 a year, depending on the location of the school and scholarships. But Alpha School founder Price hopes public schools adopt this model to leverage AI learning tools and give students more time back. When your friends from your old school ask you, what's it like at Alpha, what do you tell them?
I tell them it's more of a school that prepares you for future life, like how you're going to live your life on and how you're going to plan how to succeed in life.
Wow. Yeah. Right now, Alpha has more than 1,000 kids enrolled across 12 states, and they have plans to grow by 35% this year. The founders acknowledge there is not a one-size-fits-all solution in education, but they do believe this is a model that could work for millions of public school students. It is also unclear how much of the company's reported high test scores and grades are the result of the school's format or selection bias that's based on the students' demographics. The day we were there, there were multiple public school administrators on campus.
Yeah, selection bias. Because, you know, people who can afford $75,000 a year, you know. Yeah, so y'all got the chat lit tonight. Penny said, yeah, Texas schools are huge. Okay. 4K is small in Texas. Wow. I couldn't imagine here. I mean, that kind of school here. Well, I live in a smaller town, a mid-size, I would say small town. No, I think we're the second largest city in Georgia, are we? I have to look. Muriel said, or the third. Muriel said they are down here having babies like rabbits. These high schools have double. That has been in schools. They just now calling it AI. Yeah, the Chromebooks. Yeah. Maddie said, so yep, mine are in high school. Is crazy. Richard said, dang, my Ohio 8th grade had about 250 8th graders. The whole school was 1st through 8th grade. Okay. So y'all didn't have separate, so here is kindergarten through 5th for elementary. Then you have middle school, which is 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then we have high school, which is 9th through 12th. Penny said kids don't need cheerleaders. They need teachers. Absolutely. So said it's a documentary called Waiting on Superman. This is how schools get more money. Where can I watch that, Souls? Let me know if you know it offhand. If not, I'll look it up a little bit later. And I have to write that down. Let me start that so I can go back to it. Penny said, okay, what happens in the event of an outage? They can't function and make change. They'll just have to adjust, Penny. Richard said probably 138 graders because the classroom was no more than 20 for sure. Penny said Souls Waiting on Superman was a great doc. Okay. So Penny said, or Souls said, Penny usually will be on apps that can run without Wi-Fi. Just need to program on it. Okay. Penny said, I get that. But the point is, what happens when all the OGs that created the tech die and the tech fails? Then they only know how to use it and not fix it. So said Penny, it's been around for a long time. This push is all for money. Parents with wealth will fight to get their kids there. Also, these schools take away standardized testing. So, what's your thoughts on standardized testing? You think it should? You think we should? It should be something that happens, or you think we should do away with it? Miles said the parents are young themselves. They in similar environments. Soul said, Penny said soul's true. Similar learned environments. Bridget said it was a rural area. Towns went to school there. Okay. I understand that we have lots of rural areas around this way. Yeah. So we'll finish up. I think I got one more of these for the AI. Let me see what we got. Let me see what I got. Oh, this is the Oklahoma one.
A new kind of private school opening in Oklahoma in a matter of weeks.
How much it costs?
This new education option is raising some eyebrows, though, because the kids will not be learning from teachers.
Exactly. The curriculum is driven by artificial intelligence. Many news outlets have already done some reporting on this, but tonight we're learning a lot more about how it's being incorporated in the classroom and why the price of tuition is higher than most expensive private schools here in the metro.
News 4's Tanner DeLeon spoke with the co-founder of this new AI-powered school. And Tanner, this is eye-opening for folks.
It is, and $40,000. That's the price tag of what families will pay to send their kids to Alpha Oklahoma City. And leaders of the AI school say their students learn at a better pace compared to standard teachers. But one Oklahoma lawmaker is not quite on board with the idea.
We are using artificial intelligence to raise human intelligence.
AI-powered chain of private schools now making their way into Oklahoma, promising a better education without instruction being taught by teachers. Texas-based Alpha Schools has locations in 6 states, the latest being Oklahoma, with a location in Tulsa and the other in Edmond, opening up in August. Though Mackenzie Price, co-founder of Alpha Schools, says the Edmond location is called Alpha Oklahoma City, and a typical school day starts like this.
Our kids are spending only 2 hours in the morning working on academics. Our students are working on individualized lessons that are personalized to meet them at the exact level and pace that's right for them. So they basically spend 25 minutes in each of the core subjects: math, reading, language, science.
In all, students get 2 hours of classroom instruction taught by AI with so-called guides in the classroom for support.
Our teachers, we call them guides, are completely focused on motivational and emotional support, on connecting with every single one of their students.
After 2 hours of AI instruction, guides run workshops to teach kids different life skills.
And that freed up the rest of their school day to focus on group and project-based workshops that are teaching life skills, things like financial literacy, public speaking, leadership, teamwork, grit, hard work. All of the things are going to help young people become really successful in this world.
These guides, she mentioned, aren't required to have a teaching certificate, but have been recruited for their unconventional education backgrounds. Starting salary is $100,000, but not everyone is on board.
I have great concerns. And in fact, I wasn't aware about the Alpha Schools until I was contacted by an investigative journalist a few weeks ago.
Democratic Representative Cindy Munson, who is also running for governor, has concerns about kids being taught by AI.
I have a lot of questions. We know that students do better when they are in a classroom setting, when they are face-to-face with a highly qualified, trained teacher.
However, Price says their AI software is a personalized lesson plan based on the same curriculum students in a traditional school are getting, moving at the pace of each individual student.
We've had our graduates do everything from get into Stanford, UCLA, Northwestern, University of Chicago, USC. In fact, our senior SAT average this past year was 1540.
With the high-tech teaching tool and materials for workshops, Alpha's $40,000 a year tuition exceeds every other private school in Oklahoma. In comparison, Cassidy School's tuition tops out at almost $28,000 a year.
There's a few things that goes into. Number one, we believe our educators should be paid very well. So our guide salaries start at $100,000 a year. The other thing that we see is incredibly low ratios.
She says for every 10 students, there's one guide.
Yeah, I mean, the ratios are low because y'all cost so much. Wait. Yeah, so that's what's going on in this AI world. So, you know, I'm not completely against it. I wouldn't say that I would be completely against it. I would rather have like almost like one-on-one with my child. But I know that's not possible in public schools nor private schools. One thing is I don't want them left behind. I don't know. I'm okay with it as long as it's used as a I'm gonna say accent to normal classroom education. So if you are catching this on the rewatch, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. And ask yourself these questions. Would you allow your child to receive tutoring from an AI system, which we're currently doing anyways when it comes to these Chromebooks and these programs on Chromebooks? Should AI always be supervised by a certified teacher? Should schools be required to notify parents whenever an AI tool is used with their child? And should parents have the right to opt out? And if they opt, but if they opt out, then the instruction changes because a lot of these schools are using the programs on Chromebooks. So I'm gonna get to y'all comments. Y'all keeping I love my chat. Y'all keeping the conversation lit. Soul said a stupid child just lacks common sense. Can't test for that. Penny said fact. Muriel said those are facts because I'm like one of the oldest parents at my kids' schools. Like everyone else is in their early 30s. So says everything leading with the price. And it is. Penny says standardized tests only test memorization, not critical thinking and logic. You're right, Penny. You're right. So said thank you, Penny, for putting it nicer. Penny says so is $60K a year for the price. So is $60K a year the price for our kids? So says she's heading into booming cities. I'm gonna know what gave her the idea. I'm gonna follow up on this and see where, because essentially they've been doing this, but not 100%. You know what I'm saying? Because some days I would ask A-Boogie, hey, what you do at school? Oh, we were just on our Chromebooks. Reading passages on our Chromebook, doing math on our Chromebook. So what was the teacher doing? Oh, she was grading papers. Soul says, see, they don't even have degrees or certificates. Y'all going to listen to Souls one day. Stupider. Classic says stupider and stupider. Penny says, Souls, we listening. How the educators pay more if they're not on the payroll. Soul said, classic, we seen it before. She even played videos. Just need common sense. Soul said, education is a hoax. I told individuals our first year of no middleman to get rid of schools. I remember that. So Richard said, public school teachers and private school teachers' salaries are separate by 80K plus easily. Penny said, I'm an advocate for homeschooling. I'm just saying. I thought about it, Penny. I thought about it. I really have. I'm going to see how this school year goes. We're in a totally different school system this year. So I'm going to see how it rolls for my little one. Mary said, I want to know why she made it so expensive. So she could pay the babysitters. Essentially, the workshop heads. Because that's what they're... Because the kids are learning on the laptop with the AI models. And then, you do have a grown-up in there that could help them along the way. But then you have these people that had these workshops like financial literacy, and I think I seen pottery or something like that. So, and they were shaving a horse. So I don't know. Muriel said, my children don't like homeschooling. The only thing with homeschooling you would have to adjust is the socialization. That's what I worry about. That's the only thing I worry about. Penny said, automation from factories to now schools. That's the idea. The more you turn out, the more you make. Soul said, y'all lead her there. Safer is what y'all want, right? No shooters reported at AI schools. So say it's not expensive. Someone can afford it. Maybe not most, but the ones they want can. Penny is laughing at souls. Richard said, homeschooling, you not take into account the 94% that will be horrible. Maddie said, true souls. Yeah, so I'm thankful that y'all have been keeping the chat rolling tonight. It's been interesting. So we're going to move on to my next segment, which is the Wellness Watch. And y'all probably wonder how I'm going to fit that in, but let's watch it. So tonight's wellness, let me get this off the screen, y'all. Let's see. Put me up there like that. Like that. So tonight's Wellness Watch is about back to school anxiety. Adults often describe the first day of school as an exciting, fresh start, but every child does not walk through those doors feeling confident. Some children are nervous about making friends, some are worried that they will not understand the work, and some are afraid of being bullied. Some are entering a new school, some are worried about their clothes, their body, their hair, or whether they have the same thing as everyone else. And some children are carrying difficulties from home that their classmates and teachers may never see. Anxiety does not always look like fear. Sometimes it looks like irritability. Sometimes it looks like stomach aches. Sometimes it looks like a child suddenly becoming clingy. It may look like trouble sleeping. It may look like silence, or it may appear as repeated questions about the teacher, the bus, lunch, bathrooms, or who would be in the classroom. Those questions may sound small to us, but to a child, they can feel enormous. So when your children come home, we need to ask more than, hey, did you finish your work? What grade did you get? Did you behave? We also need to ask, how did you feel today? Did you feel included? Did anyone make you feel uncomfortable? Did you feel safe? Was there anything you wanted to say but were afraid to say? We know that academic success matters, but a child who does not feel emotionally safe may struggle to learn, focus, or ask for help. And parents need grace too, right? Some may be searching for a shoe 5 minutes before it's time to leave, and a lunch may be forgotten, a form may not be signed. So tomorrow is the first morning for me and my little one, especially at a new school. So I know we got some, uneasiness going on. So I do have a video though, y'all, for this. Let's see, where'd it go? Here it is.
The start of the new school year can be.
Let me put this up on the screen so we can listen in a little bit. Like that one better. Yeah. So let's listen in.
Extra difficult for students to focus, especially if they're dealing with anxiety.
But more school districts are putting a bigger focus on students' mental health. Fox News' Deborah Valentine has more.
Students preparing for the new academic year may have A's on their minds, but they might be standing for anxieties instead of A+ on exams. And while every kid is different, mental health professionals point to a few common back-to-school seasonal fears.
What will be expected of me? Will my teacher be nice? For older children, they may also feel the academic pressure, fears of failing or disappointing their parents. And then there's concerns around socialization as well.
Some psychiatrists recommend parents do more listening than talking if their child approaches them with concerns.
Keeping the questions just open-ended around it, inviting them to talk more, asking simple questions, how does that feel? And how can I support you more?
Meanwhile, doctors recommend parents pay attention to any lasting behavioral changes, which can also signal possible issues.
Are there more tantrums for your younger children? Are they complaining more about, feelings in their body, headaches, stomach aches? Are they refusing to go to school? Are there changes in their eating more, eating less, sleeping more, sleeping less?
Helping kids develop personal coping methods can help them feel more in control.
Is it helpful to have this picture of us in your backpack, today? What will be helpful for you? And having that conversation.
Experts also advise parents to reach out to their school's counselors or talk to their child's primary care doctor about more advanced mental health assistance if a child expresses thoughts of self-harm. Deborah Valentine, Fox.
Soul's asked a question in the chat. He said, Rain, before we get into this, he said, Rain, what is the percentage of people using their degree? It will answer how important education is seriously. So I'm gonna look that up right quick. I'm gonna hit mute because my microphone been picking up everything lately. So okay, so here's your answer. It says based on the most recent federal breakdown, about 53% of employed Americans with an education degree work in educational, instructional, or library occupations. The category most directly aligned with the degree. A broader way to measure it shows that 53% work directly in education, instruction related occupations. 68% work in jobs that require at least a bachelor's degree, though those jobs are not necessarily in education. And the remaining education degree holders work in management, administration, business, sales, and other fields. Only about half of people employed with education degrees are actually working in education related occupations. And this is based on the 2023 American Community Survey data published by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So there's your answer, souls. Maddie says socialization is important for communication skills. I agree. Penny said, then talk to your kids at home then. So Penny, what is your solution for that? I know that there's these like homeschool kid groups out in like different cities and whatnot. Do you think that homeschool kids should socialize that way since they don't have that day-to-day socialization? Maddie laughing at Penny. And she said, Penny, I will not be having the same conversations as they would with their friends because I'm their parent, not their friend. Classic said, oh man, come on, I knew it. Soul says, sounds like a white person topic. We love showing off our new outfits and shoes. Anxiousness has been created by you parents. Ooh, souls, elaborate. Classic said, gentle jet. Penny said, yeah, but a friend at their level can teach them something they didn't know, such as how or a better way to communicate. Blind leading the blind. Maddie said, my kids already picking outfits and school doesn't start until the 24th. Dang, y'all start late out there. We start tomorrow. Penny said, feelings aren't necessarily to learn. Ask the belt. Soul said, no anxiety at AI school. We cracking the code. 60K will keep anxiety and F's away. Penny says, shoot, that gives me anxiety thinking about 60K out my bank account. That's 2 vehicles. That's a half a house or a quarter of a house. I mean, that's a lot. Richard said that is hard to answer because certain places, Inky respect university. That only hard. Rigid, Rigid, friend. Autocorrect messing you up. Come on back with it. Penny said most places that want degrees care about the school name. So say, is your child not working? Is your child not worth it? 60. Oh, is your child not worth it? Oh, absolutely. If I was making enough money to send them, but I wouldn't do the AI. I wouldn't. Now I would send them to private, like to a well-to-do private school. but not an AI school. Because I believe in traditional learning. I like that. I don't know, but see, it's dang. So said private the same cost. No, so private here in my area is like 6,000 to 7,500, not 60,000. Private schools in my area. It may go upwards as like 10,000, but not, and that's per school year. So I wouldn't say that. I don't know. So Penny said, as for socializing, it's more constructive to put the child in a situation to speak with an adult in a business sense or create play dates. Okay. Penny said, so yeah, they worth it if I can make sure they are not going to school naked. Oh man. Richard said, that's hard to answer because a lot of places low-key only respect universities. Other colleges just dead. Okay. So I was laughing at Penny. Yeah. Oh man. So y'all make sure y'all check on y'all babies. Okay. This segment was just about making sure we check on our babies, make sure we check and make sure that other than, hey, did you do your homework? Make sure we check and see how they feel and how they process their day and whatnot. Okay. And moving on to hometown rain, we're gonna get into some of our local school systems and what they're doing. Muskogee County, there's a lot of counties around in my area that are starting tomorrow. Muskogee County is starting tomorrow. Russell County schools are starting later on in the week. I don't know about as far as the private school goes, but we're gonna move on to hometown rain. Let's see. So for tonight, hometown rain, we got to recognize the people who make the first day possible too, y'all. We celebrate these students as we should going back to school, but tonight we got to make sure we recognize the teachers that's preparing the classrooms, the bus drivers who's taking our babies to and from school, the cafeteria workers who are making nutritious meals. That's another thing too. We need to talk about some of these cafeteria food is like classes said, is processed food. We need to do better about our babies when it comes to that. The counselors, they're preparing to support our students. The nurses preparing their medications and health plans, and the crossing guards and grandparents and siblings. Everybody plays a role in a child's first day. So a school is just not simply a building. It's an entire community of people carrying responsibilities that many families may never see. So tonight on Hometown Rain, it goes to everybody working to make sure a child walks through those doors feeling welcomed and protected and prepared. And I do have a couple of videos from here in my hometown that is got some information for people who are catching this from my hometown. Let's see. What is that? Let's see. This is from my local school.
School starting in just a few days across Columbus, and tonight we're making sure your family is ready, from vaccines and required screenings to registration and bus delays. Newsletter 9's Alexis Thornton shows you what parents need to know before that first day back.
Who was born around now?
Before students in Georgia and Alabama head back to class, families are being reminded to check off a few requirements. In Georgia, health officials say pre-K, kindergarten, and new students need vision, dental, hearing, and nutrition screenings. 7th graders must get a Tdap shot and a meningococcal shot. 11th graders need a meningococcal booster unless their first dose was given at or after age 16. Across the river in East Alabama, state health officials say students must be up to date on shots like DTaP, polio, MMR, and chickenpox before they can start school. And don't forget registration and verification. Just over a week ago, Muskogee County Schools said about 10,000 students weren't registered. Today, that number is much lower, but officials still want families to get it done now.
Online registration is still ongoing. The great news is that we're down to a little over 2,000 people that have not registered their students yet, so you still have time. You don't want your student to miss any instruction time, so please use these last 2 days before school starts to get your student registered.
Muskogee County School District's Director of Communications, Kimberly Wright, says parents can use the district's bus app called Stop Finder to track their child's bus. Auburn City Schools has a similar app called My Ride K-12. Both let you check your child's route, see when the bus should arrive, and get alerts about delays, which can happen during those first few days of school. Alexis Thornton, WTVM News Leader 9.
So that's a that's a good thing too. You know, these bus drivers, the kids that ride the buses. We as a parent, I would like to know where my child is. So they got these GPS systems on these buses to where you can track your child to see exactly where they are and when they're getting off the bus and whatnot, or leaving a school, which way they're going, and getting home and whatnot. So that's a good thing. And another thing too, for my Muskogee County people, there is a clear bag policy in Muskogee County as well. So let me do that. Yeah.
Back to school, less than a week away from Muskogee County students, the school's continuing to put safety at the forefront. Muskogee County schools such as Shaw, Spencer, and Jordan High Schools are among many more that have implemented a clear book bag policy. Last year, the state of Georgia recorded 8 incidents where gunfire took place on school property. The principal at Shaw High School emphasized that keeping kids safe is a team effort.
People bringing things in the building that they shouldn't. So that's one of the reasons why we needed clear book bags, so that we could see what was coming in and out to ensure safety, because safety is not the responsibility of the principal or just the teachers. It's a responsibility of everyone in this community working together.
Principal Hendrick adds that if students at Shaw High School can't afford a clear book bag, the school will provide one for them.
And for Georgia high school students, the days of checking a text between classes.
Well, there you have it. That's my hometown rain. I'll get to some of these comments before we move on to Soul Reset, and I'm going to get up out of here. I'm going to plan on being here. No 2 hours tonight, but we did it. Let's see. Let's see what y'all got. What y'all got going on in the chat. So said we need to discuss their cell phones on the show. Absolutely. So we can do that. We can do that. And too, bonnets and PJs and do-rags. Yeah, that's happening down here near me. Tuskegee University has at the higher level of education has banned students from coming to class with bonnets and do-rags on as well. So we can tap into both of that if you want to. So Richard said autocorrect has one today. I was wondering, Richard, you had me thinking. Maddie said, Souls, that would be a great show. Absolutely. Penny said, rain on fire tonight. Like and subscribe. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Penny. Mine said, how much is school lunch? $20. I don't know. Maddie said, don't forget to share. Yeah, if y'all catching this, please make sure y'all share it with somebody. Tell them to subscribe too. I'm trying to get monetized, y'all. I need some more watch hours, and I need some more. We're over halfway there to the 500 subscribers needed to get monetized, and I need a whole lot of watch hours. So, but we getting there. It's a slow crawl, but we making it. Penny said, here we go with these shots again. Kyrie, where you at? So said, so you live in this late talking about first day anxiety. So you live this late talking about first day anxiety. Yeah, I am. I am. I had a lot going on this afternoon, this evening, trying to get prepared. You want things organized and uniform pressed just right. Got the shoes laid out. Everything just right. The book bag all organized and laundry finished. So yeah. Maddie said we started to clear backpacks last year. Maddie, do you think that made a difference in overall the incidents that you've seen between last year and the year before? So said Maddie, Rain, and them. So you lied this late talking about first day anxiety. Oh man. So said behind 30 years. Penny said I approve of the bonnet and do-rag ban. All right, Penny. All right. Although it was a professor, I think I watched DPMO with 2K and Kai, and 2K's brother is a professor, and it seemed like he was unbothered with it. He said as long as they come to class and do what they need to do, for the most part. I have to go back and watch it again to get his take, but because I was probably doing a couple of things here and there, but the overall point that I think he made was as long as they come to class and do their work, bonnets and do-rags didn't matter. Maddie said nope, they were still bringing guns and drugs to school. So what's the solution, Maddie? I mean, yeah, because they can hide it on themselves, right? Yeah. Maddie said so they could. I mean, Penny said Maddie so they could see guns and drugs clearly. Hey, it's we gonna we gonna it just. Mary said I have no clue. It's sad, I don't. Parents, not all. I'm doing what I can, but the parents in these situations where these kids are bringing these guns and drugs and other things that they don't need to be having at school. Period. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad that we have to rely on teachers to teach our children right and wrong, and when they should be learning it at the house. But they're only going off of what they see, though. I take that back. You want to know why I take that back? It's because some kids are out here watching what everybody else is doing instead of listening to their parents as well. So, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and do soul reset. And I don't have like an article or a video for it. We just going to send some positive vibes out to our children and the teachers and whatnot. Penny said, as far as the professor, he tripping. They're going to get good grades and potato sacks if they study. But the point is, they're not going to be hired in a potato sack. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don said, I find that a frog hair split through. What you said, Dom? Dom, did you subscribe since you're still here? Did you hit the subscribe button? Yeah, y'all. If y'all are catching this on the rewatch, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, make sure y'all share it. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be on No Middleman with the Souls. You've seen them in the chat and Uncle Plug. We're going to be talking about some great things tomorrow night. Make sure y'all tune in. We got a heavy hitter tomorrow night, probably about 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. Is that what time we going, Soul? No. Is that what time we normally go, Souls? I can't remember. It'd be around that time. Y'all check, okay? Go over to the Raw Society Network. We'll be live on there, and we'll be live on Soul's page as well. And let me, as a matter of fact, okay. Let me see. I got true ADHD, y'all. The inattentive type. Matter of fact, let me do my soul reset, and then we're gonna get out of here, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna do my soul reset. So let me pull that up. Soul reset. So as I close tonight, I want to leave something positive with every student, teacher, and parent step into the new school year. To the students, the little babies, the mid babies, and the almost grown babies, walk into school knowing your worth is not determined by your clothes, your grades, your popularity, or the opinions of other people. Make sure you ask questions. Make sure you be kind. Make good choices. And when you make a mistake, learn from it without allowing one moment to define your entire year. And to the teachers and to the school staff, your work matters. The patience, the structure, encouragement, and consistency you provide can stay with a child long after they leave the classroom. Make sure you take care of yourselves, protect your peace, and remember that asking for support does not mean you are failing. You deserve respect, resources, and a safe environment as well. And to the parents, the grandparents, the caregivers, the aunties, the aunties, the uncles, anybody who supports these kids that while they're in school, make sure you give yourself grace. You will not get every morning, every assignment, or every conversation exactly right. Listen before reacting, advocate when necessary, but also be willing to hold your child accountable when they are wrong. That's one thing that I've had to teach my son: accountability and knowing when he is wrong. Make sure you support these teachers and support your child they don't have to be opposites. The strongest school year happens when parents, teachers, and administrators work as partners instead of opponents. We cannot walk every hallway with our children, but we can prepare them. We can listen to them and we can remind them that home is a place where they are heard, guided, protected, and loved. So here's to a school year filled with growth, safety, patience, accountability, and new possibilities. So I want to thank everybody for being in here tonight. Penny said rain with the gems. Absolutely, absolutely. Dom, thank you for being in here. I know this was your first time here. I hope you subscribe and I hope you come back next time. Thank you, Classic, Souls, Maddie. And make sure you tune in. Maddie, are you available Thursday? Hit me up in my inbox. Make sure you tune in possibly the Thursday. We might do another motherhood lounge with me and Maddie. Classic was in here. Who else was in here? Maddie, Souls. I think that's it, y'all. Penny, I'm sorry, Penny. I'm looking right at you. Penny, I need to give you a wrench. I'm gonna give you a wrench, okay? Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a wrench, Penny, because Miles was in here. Hey, Miles. Thank you for coming tonight, Miles. Big Skull was in here. And Mrs. V was in here. Bridget. Okay, I think that's about everybody. So if I missed somebody, I'm sorry. I just scrolled through the comments quickly. Let me put this back up since we just talking. So check this out, y'all. Monday and Tuesday nights, y'all can catch me if you want to see me again on Souls of Thought and the Raw Society Network. We have That's No Middleman, okay? With Uncle Plug TV as well. We've been doing this over a year now. No Middleman. We have tough conversations, great conversations, funny conversations. We get down to business sometimes, and sometimes we have great conversations about relationships, life, events, everything and anything in between. Nothing is held back. So if y'all want some great conversation, make sure y'all check us out tomorrow night. 10 Eastern, I think. About 9 Central. Souls, if I'm wrong, let me know. I think that's the time we normally go on Monday and Tuesday nights. So you can catch me there. We are doing this Wednesday, we're going to finish up Playback and Perspectives with The Polygamist. We're going to do episodes 12 through the end. I think it was 21 episodes. We're going to go ahead and get that out the way because our next movie is called Princess of the Rope. And y'all can find that right here on YouTube. Princess of the Road will be our next one. And then We should be discussing that next week after this. So make sure y'all tune in to that as well. Go ahead and watch it. If you have not watched The Polygamist and you don't want any spoilers, don't watch Playback and Perspectives, okay? If you want spoilers and you have watched, or if you want spoilers, then it's fine. But if you have watched it and you want to join in on the conversation, me and Souls will be doing that on Wednesday. Probably, I got to check his schedule. Probably normal time that we go between 8 and 9 o'clock Eastern time. And then on Thursday, if Maddie is available, we'll probably be doing another episode of the Motherhood Lounge. So, and that'll be strictly right here on my channel. So yeah, y'all catch me next week. I do want to do, I will put this out there in the air, and if y'all want to tune in, y'all can. I want to do a Sko, he good for right now. He not a troll. So this is his first time here. So just let him, you good, Sko. I appreciate you. Let him be for right now. He been cool. He been cool. He been cool for the most part. So you can let him live to see another day. But Dom, our moderator, Dom, our moderators, they be on the rooftops, okay? We don't play no business around here when it comes to trolls and whatnot. So but no, just make sure y'all keep your notifications on. As a matter of fact, and if y'all are on Facebook, I'm gonna give y'all the link. I'm just gonna do this housekeeping right quick, y'all, while I got some of y'all still in here. So this is all those shows that I mentioned. No Middleman, Playback and Perspectives. Souls, you saw him in the chat. He does a sports show with Uncle Plug, 1181 Pressure Plays. And actually, they're gonna start calling the games, the football games coming up too, on Sunday evenings. Their new time frame on Sunday evening is gonna be lit. Let's see. Paste. So if y'all are on Facebook, make sure y'all go over to the Facebook and follow us on Facebook. We are part of the Raw Society Network. Make sure y'all go over there, hit that follow button. Dom said he about to open up a swimming school in the Black community. I want to say, Dom. Thank you, Dom, for subbing up. And let me get the Raw Society Network YouTube. Dom, make sure you go over here to this other YouTube channel as well. And sub, because that's where a lot of our lives are done over there on that page. Where is it at? So Don, make sure you go over to that page right there, the Raw Society Network. And that's all those shows that I just mentioned. If you want to be part of the conversation, we have good live streams over there as well. So check out that page. Hit subscribe on that page as well. And you can catch me all week live, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, No Middleman is gonna, when football really starts rolling, No Middleman will change from Monday, Tuesday to Tuesday, Wednesday because of Monday Night Football. So because 1181 is gonna turn into on Mondays for Monday Night Football. So make sure you go over to the Raw Society Network, check that out, and find most of our shows there. So yeah. Other than that, y'all, catch me live the rest of the week. Dom, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everybody coming in to the chat. Y'all kept my chat lit today. Classic. Penny, Souls, Maddie, all of y'all. Sko came in. So yeah, I appreciate y'all being here. So tonight, let me recap what we talked about. So we talked about the teacher burnout, classroom behavior, parental accountability, phone restrictions, artificial intelligence, and the emotional pressure of surrounding another year. You know, education is changing, technology is changing, policies are changing, but some things should never change. Children still need boundaries, teachers need support, and parents still deserve transparency. And every child deserves an education system that sees them as more than a test score, a behavior report, a data point, or a user on a screen. AI may have a place in the classroom, but it should never become an excuse to stop investing in real teachers. Accountability should exist in schools, but it should never become an excuse to ignore a child's individual needs. Parents should always advocate for their children, but advocacy should never mean refusing to accept the truth when a child is wrong. The future of education cannot be built by blaming teachers, blaming parents, or blaming the children. It has to be built through partnership. To every child beginning school tomorrow, including my own, we are going to pour into these babies. They're going to walk into confidence. They're going to be kind. They're going to respect the people trying to teach you. Ask for help when you need it. And remember that you belong in every room your future takes you into. To every teacher, your work matters even on the days when you feel unseen. And to every parent, including myself, give yourself grace. Stay involved. Ask questions, listen carefully, and keep showing up. So this has been the Weekly Rain Report. Real stories, real perspective, real impact. And to all of our students, parents, teachers, and school staffs, welcome back to school. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. I am your girl, Soft Rain. This has been the Weekly Rain Report. I will catch y'all next time.
Your girl Soft Rain. Real talk, no filter, no disguise. Every headline I'm breaking it live. From the streets to the pressure of up top, we see it all, yeah, we connect the dots. Weekly Rain, yeah, we run it down. Truth hit different when they wear a crown. No fluff, no cap, just facts in sight. Welcome to the Weekly Rain Report. Let's get into it tonight.